Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to this week's Furman Football Monday with Clay Hendricks. Paladins coming off of the 35-12 loss at Clemson and will be opening Southern Conference play this Saturday night at East Tennessee State University. Game time is 7:30 p.m., and we'll give you broadcast particulars coming up here in just a bit. Joining Coach Hendricks today are seniors Ryan Miller and Matt Sachovka. And we'll ask Coach Hendricks to make an opening statement and then throw it open for questions.
Yeah, again, appreciate you guys being here today. Certainly proud of our football team, how they competed. I mean, I kept telling them all last week I was just really interested in watching us compete. I knew it was I guess I could use the word monumental challenge. I knew it was a major challenge for us, but just incredibly pleased with how our kids competed. Just physicality. I heard one of our assistants, we didn't get big boyed in any way. I never felt that way. Certainly a tough place to go play. Certainly had a lot of opportunities, made a lot of plays, and then you go back and look at it, and man, we left a lot of plays out there. And I obviously credit them, and I knew we weren't going to make all those plays, but I certainly something to build upon. I think it gives our team a lot of confidence. We're certainly not in the moral victory business, but at the same time, I really feel like right now our football team can complement each other really, really well. I think our defense feels like if we get the ball back to our offense right now, we're doing some good things and have a chance to score points, and I think vice versa. I think our offense has a lot of confidence in our defense and with just how they've played. And I think we're doing some really good things in the kicking game. Offensively, you look at, we were, 10 for 18. I don't know who does that against Clemson. That's credit for what we did on first and second down. And the first thing I'll say, just credit to our offensive defensive staff for the job they did. I thought they put our kids in a great position to make plays. I didn't think there were very many times we felt like we got out X and O'd. I thought our kids were prepared extremely well. And then you look, Ryan, I think, had 13 catches, and, certainly a guy we're trying to get the ball. Tyler Huff, the day he had, and, I mean, anybody that watches him play, just the way he competes, certainly makes plays, some things he's done there, kind of fires you up going forward. Now, the negative part is, we outgained them. We were great on third down, but we didn't score enough points. And, we left points on the field, and 0 for 2 on fourth down. And, which I think I heard Coach Roper say, we got to finish drives better. We had opportunities certainly to score more points and make it even more interesting if we'd have done that. And then I think defensively, I told our group at halftime, I knew we'd missed a lot of tackles. In fact, we missed even more than I thought we did, going back and watching it. And you know what? I knew we were going to miss some tackles. And, probably more concerned about their running backs than anybody else. And I knew we would have a tough time tackling those guys in those situations. But, some of those clearly plays we should be able to make. I think I heard Coach Vaughn say, you're playing somebody that's as good or better than you. You got to rely on what you've been taught. And I think there's some times we, left our feet, didn't run through tackles. And, sometimes we play against those kinds of bodies. It's just grab him as best you can and get your buddies over to help you get him on the ground. And we didn't do a good enough job of that. Thought we made some adjustments, not major adjustments in the second half, and just played better. Got off the field, and that's the reason we had the ball 35 minutes. That's not an offensive keeping the ball. That's a keep getting the ball. We were getting stops, and then we were moving it. And, again, I thought we did a great job first and second down. We had to do something to, neutralize their rush. And it wasn't just a Clemson thing. I think those are things you're going to see from us throughout the year. But again, man, it was a day of what could have been, too, if we could have made some more plays. But, we've kind of put that one to bed and ready to, go forward and certainly play a, defending conference champion this week at their place. And I think there's not a guy in our room that won't be excited about that. And with that, just any questions you may have.
Coach, one thing that struck me watching the replays was Devin Abrams, particularly after catches, his punishing running ability. Like maybe guys see that number 8's not in there now. You got the smaller guy, and he packs the ball up too. But the question is, I think Dominic had a big catch in that game. He got interference. Devin Abrams had a couple catches. Obviously, they were recruited, and a different offensive coordinator was here. But how much of a difference, and Wayne Anderson obviously passes well enough where he's playing receiver now. How much of a difference in this offense is it when you have backs that can catch the ball like your backs evidently can?
Well, we always try to recruit those kinds of guys, and we were probably asking to do a little bit more in the blocking game, run blocking game, when we were in a lot more two backs at the time. But both those guys were really good players coming out of high school, and they're big athletic guys. And then even watch what Mine Hicks, I thought when he got in the game, some things he did. Kendall, first time he really got a chance to get in the game this year, and I think he brings a totally different dimension when we have the ability to get him here. But that's what we want. We want guys that can maybe break long ones, and yet they can catch the football, they can protect, do some of the things that we ask them to do, and I think we got a couple more guys like that too. So I mean that Antonio Wilcox has done a great job with that group, but there's some good players in that group. I think you'll continue to see two of those guys in the game at the same time, and and it was certainly tough going out there, but they are guys when you got them in space. The physicality part, I didn't think we got out physical in any way. I mean, I'm watching the tape, you can't tell me that. I thought our kids met that part, and sometimes I thought we maybe even were more physical. We had trouble matching up sometimes, and we had trouble getting pressure on the guy. And again, credit their quarterback, because he made some plays I wasn't sure he'd make against us, but give him credit, he did. And I thought we made him a little more uncomfortable in the second half, and it gave us a chance to get off the field on defense.
Your opponent this week is obviously the defending conference champion, a coach in Coach Quarles you're pretty familiar with. I don't know how much have you watched of them on tape yet against the Citadel, but what kind of problems do they present offensively?
Well, I've watched a lot of them, and I mean, two things, defensively, they really hadn't changed anything. Billy Taylor, their defense coordinator, has been there a long time. He's always done a great job. They got a good number of guys back from that defense, so they look. You could probably watch 2 or 3 years of tape, and they look pretty similar structurally. Offensively, totally different. Their offense coordinator actually followed Justin Roper at Slippery Rock, and then came there. So they are a spread football team, and which is vastly different from what they'd been doing. But the easy answer to that is they had the preseason player of the year, their running back, who had a big day Saturday. Preseason all-conference quarterback's their guy. Preseason wide receiver, first-team guy's their guy, and I think they have preseason all-conference lineman as well. So they certainly got some weapons back over there. I think the preseason all-conference kick returner, preseason all-conference kicker. So they've got some good players. But I've watched them. I mean, the structure's different. They played a game first week where they had that team outmanned. And then, I think Saturday you watch that tape, they made some crucial mistakes. It was really different in the game. They didn't have, I think they had the ball 20 minutes on offense. When you do that, you better be really good with it. And I think they probably knew that was a possibility down there. And I think they had it inside the one, didn't get anything, then threw a pick in the end zone. So I mean, it's a little bit like us the other day. If we just execute a little better in the red zone, had a chance to. Felt like we certainly left some points on the field, and I think that was the difference in the game. And I think that's how conference games are for the most part. But I'm sure we'll get their best shot, and that's a challenging place to go play. But we've also played well up there before, and but I think that's really where the difference is.
I'd like to hear from both Ryan and Matt their thoughts on that physicality that you were talking about just a moment ago, Coach, because Ryan individually had a big day, but the offense moved the football, did a really good job of protecting Tyler against a really, really talented defensive front. Yeah. And Matt, obviously, defensively, we were able to do some good things up front. So just both of you, Ryan, we can start with you, I guess, talk about that physical aspect of the Clemson game and how you felt you guys performed.
Yeah, no doubt. Like Coach said, I think we were tough. I think at times we were the tougher team in that game. We moved the ball well. We shot ourselves in the foot probably more than we wanted to. But just going back, we just clean up those mistakes. I think it's a totally different ball game. But yeah, physicality wise, we hung in there with them. It was a good overall tough game, and like Coach said, no moral victories. But I think you can look back and be proud of what we did. So.
Going into halftime of the Clemson game, I was getting on the O-line. I was like, I'm telling you guys right now, y'all are better than the guys I'm playing right now. Like, going against those guys I go against every day, that double team was a little heavier going against Jake Johanning, Wyatt Hughes, Pearson Toomey than it was going against a Clemson guy. And you turn on the film and you see that. They were getting after Clemson up front against the best D-line in the country, apparently. So like Coach Henry said, seeing those guys go after them, now it gives the defense confidence saying we can go up against anybody on the physicality aspect of it. And defensively, kind of what you were saying, like we left plays out there. It wasn't the physical aspect. Like we got after them up front, we got pushed. They didn't run the ball. They have 168 total yards rushing against us. Too much, obviously, but we just got to finish plays. And now we know we can play with the best of them. So,
Matt, there was kind of two waves in that game. After the game, I've never seen Furman players so proud of the effort. But then you start thinking of what slipped away, of what an opportunity that was. Did you have that same thing where you sort of reflected later and it got a little down about it?
no doubt. Like, you come out of the game, everybody's texting, you guys hung in there, but just, like, kind of speak on that. We came in the locker room and, you look at Jake Johanning, one of the captains on this team, he's sitting in his locker crying because that's how much it means to him. That's how much it means to us. We don't want to lose in the game. You know what I mean? All these moral victories like we're talking about. But that's the, I think, epitome of what we're about is that we're going to be upset about every time we lose. But it's cool, pat us on the back. Let's go win the conference the next week. That's our attitude. So.
Ryan, it's been 2 games, and do a shutout the first game, so Wayne got the only kickoff.
Yeah.
And you got Julian, kickoff specialist, putting him into the back of the end zone. It was like, anything you can do, I can do better between Clemson and Furman's kickoff specialist Saturday. How ready are you for a kickoff return?
If the opportunity presents itself, I'll try my best. This is my first year doing it. But I'm glad that Coach Hendricks has the confidence in me to put me back there. And just be able to make plays in any situation. So hopefully I do get a kick return. We'll see what happens, but yeah.
Well, Matt and Ron, you guys have both been around here for a while and seen the program grow. Through 2 games, played well against Clemson, and Matt, we'll start with you. How good do you think this team can be this year?
We're chasing a SoCon championship, and we're chasing a national championship. And our goal board over there has all those on it. And we missed one goal, being an FBS team, but everything else is on the board. And I've been here this is my 6th year. And I've even talking to old guys. Like, a lot of the old guys came in last week and they're like, man, this might be the best team y'all have had in a while. And that's saying a lot. We've had some good teams here. When you talk about collectively, offense, defensively, and on special teams, all 3 phases, we got a good group. But that doesn't help us win the games. We got to go put it on film. So.
Yeah, I would agree with there's no limit to what this team can be. And I've said this multiple times. I think this is probably the most talented team we have since I've been here. We got grad transfer guys come in. But, overall, I think we're just, I think we're a really solid team. I think we have the chance to show the SoCon, what we can do this year, and I'm excited about it. So.
Ryan, obviously, you're from the volunteer state.
Yep.
You'll have, I'm assuming, a lot of family and friends come to the game
Mm-hmm.
Saturday. Going back to last year, thinking back to that game, a game you guys were really close in. Can you comment on that game and just how seemingly close you were in a lot of games, and how much you've grown as a offensive player, but as a team from those type games last year, the ones you played against, particularly East Tennessee State.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we lost a lot of close games last year, and I think that game, we fought hard. Offensively, we didn't give ourselves a chance to win that game. We should have put the game away. We shouldn't have left it to the defense to finish the game. But that one stung last year for sure. That one probably hurt the most. I just think this year we have an opportunity to go out there and just prove to everybody, we want revenge. This is a revenge game for us, and we're not going to take no for an answer. So we're just going to go out there, play our hardest, do our best, and hopefully come out with a victory.
obviously, the money is nice, but when you play at a place like Furman, so many times games like Dolls, when they play, it's a matter of the game blowing up. Huge roaring crowd, a kickoff return, a long bomb, and then Clemson scores 5 touchdowns in the next 10 minutes. The game. And when I went up there, my first thought was playing with composure.
Yeah.
That you'll keep yourself in there. But having experience, there's probably not too many places that are tougher to play.
Oh yeah, I would agree with that.
Well, I mean, what does that does that experience? I know you've done it before, but you excelled. I mean, you didn't win the game. They made the big plays, but you competed.
Yeah.
What does that mean to this team? And Clay, I'd be glad to whatever anyone has to say.
I think obviously, yeah, those experiences are great, and I love playing big games. But I think for me personally, like my whole mentality, and I think what the team's mentality is and should be, it's just a football game. You just, they're human beings just like us. You just go out there and play to the best of your ability. And I kind of shut out everything and just focus on just the game itself. Not really worried about how many people are in the stands, all that stuff. You're just out there playing football and having fun. So that's kind of my whole mentality of it. But yes, those games are great to experience for sure. Yeah.
And I think that, I think it's the game within the game, because at the end of the day, you got to be able to go execute. Because, the noise makes a factor, and, I guess I can tell us about Tyler, the first play of the game, the procedure, we actually didn't get them from offsides. We were changing the snap counts a little bit just to try to keep them from, we knew they were going to come after us, and he forgot the snap count on the first snap of the game, and I think second play, he got his helmet jerked off and thrown 25 yards with no call. But I think, we gave up a drive, which we didn't want to do. We didn't execute very well, but offensively we responded. Had we not responded right there, then you don't know how it's going to go. But you just got to keep responding, and the only way you do that is go out and execute. And you try to block the other part out, even though it is part of it. And it's hard to block out the bunch standing in front of you because they are there. But again, it's just going to be able to go execute, do what you do, and have guys can make plays. And I think that's just the difference we got to. You talk about teams, we got a number of guys that can make plays, and we're playing really solidly up front on offense, and our quarterback has played really, really well, and he's got a good supporting cast, and we've shown we can get people off the field on defense, and been solid in the kicking game, and that's a pretty good recipe, if we can keep that going.
I would say it's definitely a neat experience, just playing in that environment, but. Just looking at, talking about Tyler Huff has never played in a game like that. Like, at PC, they didn't play in big games like that. And to do what he did, go 30 for 39 like that in a game like that, when your leader does that, everybody else is going to follow. Everybody's just going to fall in line and play their game. So,
it's interesting, Tyler, him saying that, our North Greenville game, we were standing there probably early in the third quarter, he's out of the game. And I don't know what I said to him. And I think I just said something about, good job out there. And, he's standing over there watching the game, and he said, Coach, I hadn't been to many games like this, where I could literally come over here and stand and watch, and it's just sometimes you don't think about what you don't think about. And again, just him not having, we've been in that environment a little bit. We were in it last year up at NC State, and we didn't handle it very well. And we weren't competitive. And to be honest with you, asking about teams, that team wouldn't have been competitive Saturday. I just don't think they would have been, and I think that's really what, how we've grown. We've added a few pieces to the puzzle, which has helped, certainly. And I thought we went up there and we tried hard, a year ago. But, trying hard is not enough. You still got to be able to go execute and, play in all phases of the game.
Coach, I asked you last week after the North Greenville game about the communication and chemistry between the coaching staff for the first time, and you said, well, just because of the nature of the game, there wasn't a whole lot of cross-chatter going on. What was Saturday like? A little different situation. Coaches on the headsets, all the communication going on. How was all of that chemistry between you and the guys upstairs and coordinators and everything? Yeah,
it really was no different than it was out here in Paladins Stadium against North Greenville. I don't think of anything other than we had a little bit of a headset issue right at the start of the game on the defensive side that just to get it, a technical deal, but they got that cleared up. But what we really did, I think all our guys were pretty composed, And I think that starts, on offense with Justin, and that's a little bit the nature of who he is and how he responds. And, but really, it was really no different. I guess sometimes when you have the headset on, you don't hear a lot of the other stuff. In the stadium aspect, you don't hear some of the stuff the players are hearing. The noise is not quite the same. But no, I think that's been probably a really good. Just been a good part of this staff. This staff and even our players. When things don't go well, okay, let's keep our composure and make adjustments, and I think we've done that. So,
on Saturday, you hear some people talking about you guys' a scheme going into that game. You had a couple extra days. How much did that help? And you can script something and it not go well. How much of that was scripting, and then how much of it was obviously executing what you planned out to do?
We don't script a lot. We really don't. I mean, I've been parts of years where we did it. Sometimes it's worked well, sometimes it hadn't. To be honest with you, I'm happy to have a normal week, because this, even these guys last week, we still, we were a little bit ahead, but we weren't going to scheme them to death. I think we had a general plan of things we had to do, give our kids a chance. I absolutely, certainly, it's probably a little tough on them with a short week. I can certainly see that. But I think I counted 68 support staff. So I think they had lots of guys. I'm sure they had a game plan well in advance. And, and probably a little bit unknowns with us one game. But we also had, they played one game on Monday night, a totally new OC, totally new DC. And you can watch those guys call it. I know they've been around there for a long time, but they called it a little different than the guys did last year. So I don't know. The rest probably helped us a little bit. I thought we were pretty healthy. I think we're pretty healthy right now. So I think that probably helped. But I don't know. I kind of enjoyed sometimes the short week when I had them. I know when I was at the academy, we liked it because people didn't have time to prepare for what we were doing, and I think we gave them some stuff to make adjustments to, and a little bit different from stuff we had done, but it was nothing. It was nothing earth-shattering. Just really at the end of the day, we had pretty good execution. All those screens executed pretty well. Quick throws, and there was a way to help us be productive first and second down. And I think the biggest reason we were good on third down was we didn't have a lot of third and long. Because if we were going to live in third and long, those guys up front, that was not going to do them justice. And they played really well, but we couldn't put them in that situation.
This can easily be overstated because every week's another game, and every week, I think fans don't know, it's my favorite. That other team, it's trying too. What do you think the effect of Citadel knocking off East Tennessee is on this?
I don't know. I don't know. Has any effect on us? Obviously you lose a conference game early. It'd be no different if we don't take care of business this week. But when our goals are high, you lose an early conference game, makes it tough to accomplish those. Doesn't mean you can't. But I don't. For us, I don't think it has any bearing at all. I knew, they're going to have the same players they had, and you're going to go play at their place, and they'll be a different group. And if you go play the Citadel, there's a reason why they beat Chattanooga last game of the year last year, probably not Chattanooga out of the playoffs, and I don't think they're anywhere nearly as talented as the Chattanooga group, and that's why you play the game. And sometimes it backs those guys in the corner, and they come out fighting a little hard. Which, again, I think it's going to come down to who can go execute, on both sides of the ball and take care of the ball, and you got to score points and get people off the field.
Coach, when you're coaching against someone that's this familiar with your team, I guess Coach Cronick at Mercer might have been another scenario earlier. Do you do anything different?
Well, I think what's unique about it is I think they know personnel, but you remember now Matt McCutcheon's on our staff too. So, Matt said yesterday, and we went, we went with our group, we went down, he knows almost every kid on that team. And so I think the personnel part, he practiced against their defense coordinator every day I guess Matt was there 5 years, so he'd had to line up and go against that, and that hadn't changed. But, I don't think they're an overcomplicated group. I think they've got a good scheme. They're good at what they do, and they're confident in it. And I think he's confident calling it. Now, I think we're a little different now. And then I think obviously the changes that they have offensively vastly different, but not different from what we've seen. They're I'd say a typical spread team. I mean, nowadays you see that a lot. But now I think other than just the personnel, does that help a little bit? Yeah. Maybe this. Here's the weaknesses and here's the strengths and that type of stuff. But otherwise, I'm not sure it has any bearing.
Coach, has anything surprised you about this team through 2 games this year?
Well, not really. I mean, Tyler Huff, I had a lot of confidence in him. Had not seen him in live action. I saw him in spring of 20, whatever year that was, 21 on video, I knew he was a pretty good player, and I knew what some people who compete against him thought, and that competitive word. And obviously, but Coach Spanger actually didn't join our staff until after he had. Now, I certainly had conversations, about him when we were recruiting him, and really it was George Quarles and I were the two recruiting him. When he was coming off of a knee surgery, we felt great about that. And I don't know, it was probably December. Knowing he wouldn't graduate until May. So I had high hope, but certainly, probably the level that he has played. I don't say I'm surprised, but pleased. And I also think I've been really pleased with Jace and his development. And I think Tyler's been great for Jace. Jace now been in 2 big games, or played a ton the first week, and golly, I saw the numbers for passing. People have some big stiffs on our team. It's just reduction in the passing game, and I think maybe we were a 55% team for the year last year, and that's probably the best it'd been in a couple of years. And now I think we're actually 80% as a team. And Jace had a lot to do with that because he was really good in week 1. So, I think that's probably the thing. Maybe in just the offensive with the changes, maybe as we've been able to maybe do a little bit more than I thought we could year 1 or this early in the season. And again, credit to the staff and we got some pretty good guys that we want to get the ball to. So it's nice when it's Ryan a little bit last year, man. It was, and it's not like people don't know where Ryan is now. I guarantee you they know where he is every play. But when you have a compliment somewhere, then okay, we can take advantage of it some other ways, and I think that's been a lot of our success.
A couple of things for the players. First of all, Ryan, are you scrounging around for tickets for family members? How many people you have in Johnson City on Saturday night?
Probably just my parents and my grandma.
Okay.
Honestly. So I'm from West Tennessee on so I don't have a lot of family up in East Tennessee, more towards Nashville. But yeah, I think my parents and my grandmother will be there. So.
As for both of you, circumstances have conspired to allow you to stay here and play more football. Matt, you may never leave. I mean, you might be here long after Hunter Reed is gone. Who knows? Yeah, exactly. But because of that, and I'll start with you because of the knee injury last year, but it's for both of you. Not that you necessarily took things for granted in the early part of your career, but do you have maybe a greater appreciation for the opportunity you have now as opposed to, say, maybe 2 or 3 years ago?
No doubt about it. Just going back to last year, I remember going into the first game of the year, and I was like, man, I got a whole season ahead of me. Go have a good game, go have a whole season. And this year's a totally different approach. I'm going to leave it out there on the line every game because I don't know, I might not make it to halftime like it went last year. And just going into this week, I was on my couch with my knee up while ETSU came in here and beat us on the last drive of the game. And that stung. That hurt me bad. I couldn't be out there helping my guys. So I didn't get to be a part of it last year, but it's definitely, I'm excited to go get some redemption for sure.
Ryan, any change in your perspective from a few years ago to now?
I think so. For me, why I chose to come back is obviously Coach Hendricks talks about, football is important, but getting a degree from Furman is also just as important, if not more important. And for me, I want to be able to graduate from here. I want to have that degree, and being able to come back for this 5th year is, man, I love it. I love playing football. I'm glad I'm able to be back here with my teammates, my brothers, all these coaches. And we got a great team this year. We got something special this year, and I'm just excited. So.
And I'll say this, Dan, too, with that. He's the only true 5th-year guy we have on our team. He's truly playing a 5th season of football because of the COVID year. And Ryan, pretty productive guy a year ago in the world of college sports and college football. Now, I don't know that he ever, I remember him walking in December and saying, Coach, I'm coming back. You want me back? I said, yeah, we'll take you back, But just loyal, because I'm sure he probably would have had a lot of options, and could have finished in the spring. He didn't have to save his class, for this fall. And then same thing with Matt. It really wasn't even an option. The grad program wasn't an option at this time last year. It was being talked about, but we didn't know for sure. And really was the first guy to get into the program once they brought it back. And because of, Matt's been hurt before. He's missed another year, which gives him an option, really a 7th-year option, and which was great because the grad program was a 2-year program. And, so I appreciate these guys' loyalty. And, again, our guys, I get asked that all the time. I said, our guys are here for a different reason, and, yeah, I want football to be a huge part of that. But, man, they value what this place will do for them from an education standpoint. They value, they know the football's going to end. And I hope, guys that want to play later, I hope they get that opportunity. And you can do that from here. But, it's really about preparing yourself for that next step. And I think all our guys see that. And I think our culture is one that they enjoy being around. And I know I do. I enjoy being around. Having a team full of guys like this, it's not like that many places, and ask people what they think. And I think, what we've done with the staff, I think the combination of those things, and living in a great place at a school, I value I'm certainly a grad, but I value, what Furman does preparing kids for life beyond. But it's okay to have a good football team too, and that's really, really important to us, and nice to have support. A lot of other people feel that way also.
I think maybe Furman's best advantage is that there's a lot of places, and I see covering high school every Friday night, kids who they're going to go whoever will have them, whoever will take them. And if they do, this is a hard time for a high school kid because there's so much transfer protocol. There's so many people who are weighing, do we want a high school kid or do we want to go after transfers? But I think that the biggest thing that Furman has going for it, that kids like them. They like where they are. Matt, when you've had injuries, there's a balance between, serious injuries, they're hard to rehab, and how hard you work has a lot to do with it. But then the other side of it is you've got that reckless abandon of, I got nothing to lose. And I just wondered how that impacts on you, because you can't have an injury and not be affected by it. But.
No doubt. Well, even in the spring season, I played with a torn meniscus all season. I was injured or whatever. And having the ACL, that was one I couldn't play with. You know what I mean? But now it's I've had the worst of the worst. As long as they tell me I can go out there and strap it up, I'm going to be okay. I'll deal with it after the season. I'm not taking anything for granted. I'm going to play as many games as I can play until my legs fall off, until they kick me out of here. So.
Any final thoughts from Coach or any of the players?
No, just appreciate you being here. Obviously, we're excited to need a great week of prep, and excited to go play a really good East Tennessee team this week.
Well, we want to thank Clay Hendricks, Matt Sachovka, and Ryan Miller for being here today. I'll just remind all those who are tuned in that kickoff is 7:30 p.m. in Johnson City, Tennessee, first Southern Conference game of the year, and the radio broadcast via the Fan Upstate will begin with the Pepsi Countdown to Kickoff at 6 p.m., 97.7 FM in Greenville, 97.1 FM in Spartanburg, and on the Odyssey app. You can just search for the Fan Upstate there. Thank you for joining us for this Furman Football Monday with Clay Hendricks. I'm Dan Scott. This has been, once again, a Hunter Reed, Jeff Schetzel production. Go Dents.
Thank you.
Thank y'all.